What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to MLB Swing for the Fences DFS show here on the Run Pure Sports YouTube channel. It's Friday night, September 12th, and a 12-game baseball slate on our hands. It's a good one. Joined, as always, on Friday, Steve Boyton. How you doing, Steve?
I'm doing great, man. Interesting week of baseball here. We're on the Tuesday show. We talked about the Luis Garcia, the lunch lady fade. Because of the reduced velocity, he comes out throwing like 87-mile-an-hour poo, but they pulled him before we were able to take advantage of it. That was frustrating. You did take down the Ticket Tuesday contest. Just getting Saber pulled up here while we're chatting. So I believe that's 7-0 so far against the chat. I think we only have 4 or 5 shows left this season. So it's coming down to it. We'll do another one today. I had a good week after Tuesday, almost won the 121 on Wednesday and Thursday. Got 6th place both times. So feeling good coming in the weekend. Should be good slate tonight. There's a bunch of good series this weekend and coming down the stretch. Feel like the races are a little bit closer than they have been in the last couple of years. We got the NL West, the NL wild card, the AL wild card, and the AL West I think is going to be super fun. Mariners red hot, Houston scuffling a bit. And I think Houston plays Seattle next week, like the last 3 or 4 games of the year. So the races will be fun down the stretch. Good to have something on Friday before a big weekend of college football, NFL, and everything that's going on at RPS.
Yeah, awesome time of year, obviously, with the football. And then it's fun, man, having baseball still on non-football days, right? Or even during the football. I typically play on Sundays, but yeah, Saturday MLB is still good. Awesome slate tonight, like you said, and certainly a lot to talk about. Yeah, and like you said with the Garcia stuff, it's frustrating when you kind of like know something that maybe the field doesn't, and it doesn't end up getting paid. But obviously, those situations happen all the time. We do have 12 games to talk about, Steve. So let's get right into it. We'll start off in Toronto for the Blue Jays and the Orioles. Trevor Rogers going for Baltimore, man. Tough season for the Orioles overall, but he's been just ridiculously good. I think pitching, way over his head. I don't think he's really close to this good, but no doubt the results at least have been incredible for Rogers. And I do think he's a good pitcher, just not, he's like out pitching Skubal over the last month and a half. So I'm not going to use him against the Blue Jays, but honestly, I've missed out on a lot of his good run anyway. So I haven't really got on board. Tonight's not going to be the night for me. He's good enough, though, where I think I'm going to look elsewhere other than Blue Jays bats. And then Chris Bassett going on the other side. One of a few pitchers going tonight who has some severe splits where Bassett's really effective against righties and really ineffective, frankly, against left-handed bats. I do kind of like these Orioles lefties a little bit. Holiday, Henderson, obviously. I like the rookie catcher, Basallo. Can throw in Beavers and Cows. There are some promising young left-handed bats in there as well. I think kind of a fun contrarian spot here for the Orioles lefties. Steve, what are you doing with Baltimore and Toronto?
Yeah, not playing Rogers here against the Blue Jays. Just not enough strikeouts, even though he has been really good. The O's have been good in general down the stretch. I think they've won 8 of their last 9, something like that. With Bassett, I'm going to be on both sides here. I think this is one of the spots on the slate to be on both sides here. We'll get to the bats second, but Bassett has a decently good upside spot here at 8,200 against this Orioles lineup. With all the young kids in there, they've been striking out a ton. I know we were talking about it earlier, 33% strikeout rate over the last 2 weeks. It's the highest in baseball. The K-prop agrees. Over 5.5 is minus 150 here. So the upside is there for Bassett. He hasn't been good on the road, though. So definitely not comfortable playing him in a main lineup or anything like that. But I think the upside's there for 20 plus here from Bassett. Seeing, 10 to 15% own. What does Saber have here? Yeah, about there. So he's going to be in my pool. Not my favorite play, but I do like the upside here for him. And then Baltimore, like you said, in the non-Bassett lineups, got to like the lefties here. I'll probably leave out the righties. Not going to play Rivera, Mountcastle, guys like that. But Holiday, Gunnar, Beavers has Pop, Cowser, Vasala, I think are going to stay in the pool here. Just trying to take advantage of, when things go wrong for Bassett, it is usually the lefty, like you said.
Yeah, makes sense. And we got a challenger for the 3-man. I like the confidence. Going to whoop you both tonight. So Dhruv Patel, send a message to
DM me on Twitter or in Discord, and we'll get you in.
Yeah, and at first, Steve, with our Ticket Tuesdays, I was kind of rooting for the people to beat us. That's why we started the contest, give away some free tickets. At this point, though, 7-0. I mean, I'm rooting for us to take this down to the wire and keep the tickets to ourselves.
Trying to do like the Dolphins 16-0 bit.
Yeah, we've come this far. I'm playing to win at this point.
Yeah.
Let's go to Boston and New York next. Yankees and Red Sox. Big series here between the Yankees and the Red Sox. In one of several big series, like you said.
Yeah.
This weekend, Lucas Giolito going for the Red Sox. He's been, frankly, much better than I expected him to be pitching in Fenway this year. He's been pretty effective most of the year. He is still prone to some blow-up starts now and again. And I kind of view him as one of the more volatile pitchers, for his skill level, I guess, is what I would say. And then Luis Gil going for the Yankees. He's looked pretty solid coming back from serious injury. Stuff looks pretty good. I don't think this is the spot for either of these pitchers. Both these guys are off my list tonight. But I do like the offenses here, particularly the Yankees. This top 6 for the Yankees right now that, Judge is back swinging a good bat. You've got Stanton just mashing home runs, it seems like, every night. And then all these lefties, Grisham, Bellinger, Rice, Jazz. You could go down to McMahon, I think, in the 9-hole. Listen, I wouldn't be surprised if Giolito pitches well, but when the Yankees go off, it's always power, and it's just hard to match them. So,
last night.
They just break. I think they break more slates than anybody. I don't have the numbers, but that would be my guess. And I think they're right up there tonight. They're hard to afford because we do like expensive pitching. Tarek Skubal, obviously, on the slate. We'll talk about him in a moment. But, man, I got to get some Yankees exposure. You can play these guys as one-offs, too, if you want to, right? You're mostly looking for power anyway. But I do think they're an awesome stack here against Giolito, who, man, he just doesn't strike me as like a big game pitcher, And
especially as a choke artist here.
I kind of think so. So just talking out of my ass, honestly, there. But that's just my guess on Giolito. So I'm in on the Yankees here pretty big. What are you doing with Red Sox and Yankees?
I like both sides here, like you said. Big series at Fenway. Ballpark Pal has this right behind the A's Stadium on the park factors today. There isn't much to get excited about weather-wise besides Sacramento, which we'll get to later. But, kind of the same story with both of these pitchers. They've been running super hot lately. Heel, since coming back, has the 3.31 ERA, but under the hood, DC, there's some troubling stuff. 4.89 expected ERA, 5.57 xFIP, 24% ground ball rate, slate worst 14.9% walk rate. So there's some stuff for Heel that I think is going to come back to bite him, and is a great spot for it here. And kind of the same thing with Giolito. Since August 1st, has a walk rate north of 11%. The estimators are over 5. So his 2.95 ERA in that stretch is pretty flimsy. So kind of like this game from both sides. I do prefer the Yankee side just because of the power, like you said. But I think we see runs here. I like the over in this game. It's just a good spot for both of these pitchers to hit some regression here. We do have the lineups on both sides. Yankees have basically they finally put our guy Caballero in there over Volpe. He's been good. Still 2 more bags last night. Caballero is just in like an awesome DFS play because if he gets on base, he's going. And it seems like he has that job now at short. So I don't think
especially with the what was it, torn labrum news from Volpe. I mean, they're going to let Caballero play if he's producing for sure.
Yeah. I mean, the big reason when he was with the Rays that he wasn't a great play, right, is because he would always come out of the game at some point. But he's arguably the best base stealer in the game, and he's going to run. So I really like him down to the 8-hole shortstop outfield in the Yankees stack. So we really like Yankees. Boston is a bit expensive. But man, like the Yankees bullpen's struggling right now. I could see this being a high-scoring game on both sides here.
It feels like one of those kind of classic Yankees-Red Sox games where it's, like 8-7 in the 8th inning or something crazy like that. It's just, again, going
one
off.
of those where before the pitch clock could be like a 5-hour and 20-minute
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And apparently I'm just picking on pure vibes tonight. So numbers be damned. Giolito can't pitch in the clutch. Yankees going off in Fenway. Let's go to Cleveland and the Chicago White Sox up next. Tanner Bybee going for the Guardians against this White Sox team that has been better for sure. Still not a bad matchup for Bybee. I do think he's going to get ownership at 7K. I don't hate it. I don't love Bybee as a pitcher. Yeah. I don't love the ownership, but I do think on paper he's a pretty good play at 7K. Perez 6,400. Man, I love picking on this Guardians team, but I don't think Perez is the guy to do it with. So I'm going to pass on Perez at 6,400. A little bit of interest in Bybee, but there are pitchers I do like better. And then mostly I think out on bats in this one. Steve, what are you doing with Guardians and White Sox?
Yeah, Bybee at 7K. It's kind of been like a bum hunter throughout the year. He's really regressed down the stretch. Estimators over 5 in the last 2 months. The White Sox have been getting after these like shitty, cheap pitchers for a couple weeks now. Sabres got him around 25%. I think that's high on a 12-game slate, on a slate where I know both of us like a lot of pitching. So I'll probably be out on Bybee, especially at that ownership. And I'm going to look at some secondary stacks in this game. The Cleveland or the White Sox lefties have been really getting it done of late. Montgomery, Teal, Sosa's been hot. Benintendi's had a great second half. So probably secondary stacks for me only here. The team total's under 4, but I don't really like Bybee as a popular play. And then Cleveland, I think against Perez, I put in the playbook, the cheap Cleveland bats here, they are platoon risk, but I mean, Big Christmas is 2K, first base and outfield. I think he's
John Kesky, Noel, for those who are aware of the Big Christmas.
John Kesky, Noel, big time power, and Angel Martinez hitting second for 2,900. I think are going to make a lot work, especially if you're trying to double spend a pitching or something, a 2 or 3 man Cleveland, or just a one-off with one of those cheap bats. I think is pretty interesting here, but that's about all in this game for me.
Yeah, Noel, Martinez, 2 guys that are making my lineups as just like the last guy in is when I need the savings. And yeah, I feel like the White Sox, like you said, the lefty bats, feels like every time I play Kyle Teal, it gets 20 fantasy points for me. Which I guess would mean that they go off kind of in the good spots, right? Because obviously that's when we play them. So,
and like their price tags haven't really gone up that much. Like the entire team is still cheap. They've got a decent core of young hitters. We'll see if they're able to do anything with the pitching moving forward. But we like what we've seen from the young White Sox bats down the stretch.
Also good leverage against one of the more popular pitchers in Tanner Bybee. So, might try to get in a little bit of Montgomery and Teal in particular. I think are the 2 plays that you most want on the White Sox. Let's go to New York for a fun pitching matchup here. We've got Jacob deGrom going for the Rangers. It's been very, very good this season. Has slowed down a little bit here in the last 7 or 8 starts, partly due to lower pitch counts. I mean, he did throw 97 last time out. So it hasn't been a huge issue for deGrom, but it could potentially be, a quicker hook for deGrom from time to time in these last few starts. I think he's an okay play, Steve, but I think there's better ways to spend your salary than deGrom. I mean, this Mets team, you know they're going to be as locked in as any team can to try to give DeGrom a tough time. And I mean, the top half of the offense is just full of some of the best hitters in baseball. So I think I'm going away from DeGrom tonight. I do like the pitcher on the other side some, though. Mets rookie Jonah Tong has pitched pretty well through 2 games. He did have really good matchups in both of those games, but 6 strikeouts in each. Maybe just as importantly, the Mets appear to fully trust him. 97 and 96 pitches in those 2 starts. And the stuff looks good to me. I don't know if you've looked at his fastball, but it's got this incredible rise to it that I think is going to lead to some huge swing and miss games like it did in the minor leagues, right, where he was just absolutely dominant. So to me, if I add the 2 together, he's looked good, the stuff grades out well, and I'm not going to put aside just how dominant he was in the minor leagues. I think that's part of his profile, especially just 2 starts in. And I think a pretty good matchup here against Texas. I know maybe you're a little concerned about the strikeout upside, but man, I do like Tong quite a bit. And I think he's maybe my favorite contrarian option, where we're seeing him around sub 10% owned, I think, for
we're seeing 6-7% here on Sabre right now.
Yeah, count me in. I'm in on some Jonah Tong, my favorite contrarian pitcher on this slate. Pretty much a full pass, I think, on the bats in this one for me. What are you doing, Steve, with Mets and Rangers?
Yeah, it's the arms here. I think I'll probably end up getting on Tong. Getting on Tong.
You don't want to miss out on the Jonah Tong gem. Come on now.
We love these guys coming up in this is a huge series for both teams. I was just pulling up the updated wildcard standings while you're chatting. The Mets are just holding on for dear life in that last wildcard spot. They've lost 6 in a row. The Reds and the Giants are both only 1.5 back of the Mets right now, and the Rangers are 2 back of Houston and Seattle. So massive series on both sides. You get DeGrom going back to Citi Field, which is a cool story too. I have the same issues with DeGrom as you do. I think the duration concerns are real here. And the sports books agree with us. Under 15.5 outs is like -130, -140. It's a really tough matchup for him to have a super clean 5 innings and smash, right? Against
the Mets are so patient too. They take so many walks, they work the counts. It's just a tough spot.
I think what I'm actually going to do is end up replacing DeGrom in my pool with Tong and just take the savings and the better matchup. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm concerned about the duration for DeGrom. Like I said, he's only recorded 1 out in the 6th inning in his last 4 or 5 starts. So I just don't think this is a great spot for him to pop a huge upside game. I mean, the Mets, even though they've, scuffled in the standings, are still raking against right-handed pitching. First in the majors in weighted runs created plus, second in ISO over last month in the split. I think I'd just rather go up to Skubal or, we'll talk about Yoshi too, or down to Pablo Lopez, who I think is a sneaky contrarian play too. So probably going to end up passing on DeGrom. I'm going to add our guy Tong to the playbook right now, actually.
Can't pass on Tong on Vibes Friday here on the.
It is Vibes Friday.
Vibes Friday. Yeah, we're going with it. Let's get to Detroit and Miami. This one in Miami, Lone Depot Park. Obviously a good place to pitch, and a very interesting pitching matchup here too. You got Sandy Alcantara going for the Marlins. He's had a pretty strong second half after what was an epic struggle in the first half of the year for Alcantara. I don't know what to do with him. I mean, the matchup's pretty good here. He's pitching at home. There's strikeouts in the Tigers lineup, and he's 6K. So I do think he's got to be in play, does Sandy Alcantara. And then, of course, on the other side, Tarik Skubal, I think unquestioned best pitcher in baseball at this point. You mentioned earlier, he's got a 19.5 outs prop. I don't think I've seen one that high all year. I don't always look them up every single day. So maybe there's been, but couldn't have been higher than that. And that's juiced to the over. We've also got strikeouts in this Marlins lineup. And, I mean, let's be honest, really not many threats at all. Like, I guess Agustin Ramirez, but he's been pretty bad recently too. Just a true smash spot for Skubal. Hard to imagine this goes south for him. Only question is the salary, right? He is very expensive, $12K. There are other good pitchers on the slate, and he's going to be popular. So if you play Skubal, and listen, I'm going to play plenty of Skubal. You do need him to go off, right? You need 25, 30 fantasy points out of him. I think he gets it, but you absolutely do need it. So I don't think you have to play him in every lineup. But I do think you definitely want exposure to Skubal. I'll probably mix in a share of Alcantara as well in my 5 lineups. Steve, what are you doing with Detroit and Miami here?
Yeah, Sabres got his median projection at 24.5 today, which is just insane. Like the outs prop is great. I was just pulling up his updated strikeout prop while you were talking. Over 7.5, minus 125 on DK. So they're expecting 8+ Ks. This could be a 10+ K spot for Skubal, who is going to close the year super strong for the best team in the AL. Like the Tigers have been an awesome story for 2 years. They got a great manager, a great staff, and it all starts with him. So I will have a bunch of Skubal here. Obviously, great play. And there are cheaper pitchers that we're going to talk about to pair with him where the 12K isn't so egregious, I guess. And then, Alcantara's been really good since the All-Star break. The biggest difference is he's really found his command, I think. The velocity is still 98, 99. The command is what was really hurting him early in the season. He's put up 20+ DK in 4 of his last 5 starts. He's thrown 100+ pitches in 4 straight starts. I mean, this is elite duration for a 6K price tag here, DC. His estimators since August 1st, 3.64 xFIP, 3.8 expected ERA. These just aren't numbers that we usually get at this price tag, right? So I think you got to play some Sandy here. He's been good. He's proven that I'm not going to say figured it out, but he deserves higher than a 6K price tag at home in this park with how well he's pitched of late. I will say, if you don't play Sandy, I think Parker Meadows leading off is a decent one-off there, 3,100. Probably going to have a decent amount of him in my non-Sandy teams.
Yeah, you could run crazy on Sandy. I always mention that. Meadows, I assume that's part of the reason he's leading off. I bet there's does he have? He does run, doesn't he? He's got, Yep. Makes sense there. And like you said with Sandy, I mean, you just normally when you play a 6K pitcher, you're like kind of just praying for the 15 fantasy points, that they survive. Alcantara has like legit upside, right? I mean, he can go 7 or 8 innings, get 7 or 8 strikeouts for sure. I'm not saying that's what he's going to do, but he's way more likely to do that than most cheap pitchers that we play. So, Sandy definitely growing on me a little bit as we talk about this slate, especially given, you could just stack the pitching there, right? Alcantara and Skubal, and you're should be pretty set, I would imagine.
People don't like doing that because it caps your upside, but I don't mind it as much with a 6K pitcher, right? You're not trying to get 25 from Sandy here.
Exactly. If he pitches well, that's enough. Arizona and Minnesota up next. This one in Target Field. Should be a pretty good night for hitting weather here. Going to be hot and humid. Ballpark Pale, they've got this as the 3rd best park for bats behind just Sutter Health in Sacramento, of course, Fenway, and then they've got Target Field 3rd on this huge slate. So ball should be flying here. Good spot for home runs. Pablo Lopez going for the Twins here, returned after a 3-month absence. Yeah. And Twins let him go. 92 pitches was definitely more than I expected. I don't think that's a guarantee to continue for Lopez, obviously with the Twins completely out of it, but it was good to see at least for the first start. And this Diamondbacks team it's kind of fallen apart a little bit here. No Ketel Marte in the lineup. Lopez didn't quite make the cut for me, but no Marte does have me bump him up a little bit. So definitely interested in Lopez. Not sure if I'll get to him or not. And then Brandon Pfaadt on the other side. I don't think he's too much in play here. Looking at some of these Twins lefties, Larnach and Wallner in particular, left-handed bats, no question what you want in general against Brandon Pfaadt. Your thoughts here, Steve, D-backs and Twins?
Yeah, I was encouraged too by the pitch count for Lopez. I agree. I'm not sure if it's completely sticky. Just checking the props while you're talking. Over 5.5 Ks with the juice on the over over 16.5 outs is minus 140 on DK. So, hopefully 6 innings here from Pablo. He's a
I might bet the unders on those props. I mean, would you be shocked at all if they pulled him after 72 pitches for no reason? No. So
I don't think he's a main lineup play, but I am going to have some of him. He is the type of pitcher that I do like playing when he's going to be low owned, and that's what he's going to be tonight at home. I think the Twins get to Fott here, so good chance for the win for Lopez too. Like you said, this Snakes offense, kind of like we thought was going to happen after the trade deadline, has finally started to crater. 25th in both weighted runs created plus and ISO over the last month, 29th in both weighted runs created plus and ISO in the last 14 days. And they just lost Ketel Marte to a scratch. So I think it's a good spot for a contrarian Pablo Lopez play. I actually like him more than DeGrom here. I think people are going to underrate how good of a matchup this is for Lopez here. So he's my favorite play in the game. I'm with you on some of the Twins bats, just pulling up their lineup here on Sabre. Buxton's been great. He's up to 6,200, tough price. But yeah, I think Twins secondary stacks are probably the way that I'll go. Obviously, the Snakes bullpen behind Fott, if things go south, is not a good one.
Yeah, no question about it. That's the first half of the slate. Still got a bunch of games to talk about. Pick 6 to do all that good stuff. Good time to remind everybody watching the show, big crowd today. Hit the like button. Does help us out. And more importantly than that, get on over to runpuresports.com. Best season, best time of the year for sports. Big UFC card coming up, college football, NFL. We had the Millie Maker last week. And in the Discord, that was awesome to see. JBC on fire with plays, bets, everything you guys need. Cash games, DFS, bets. We got it all over at Run Pure Sports. All right, Steve, let's get to the next game on the slate. St. Louis and Milwaukee, this one at American Family Field in Milwaukee. It'll be right-hander Quinn Priester going for the Brewers. But a real bright spot for the Brewers this season. He's pitched very well. They trust him, right? You do see 80, 90 pitches out of him almost every start. And obviously a good matchup here, too, against the Cardinals. 8,300 is feels a little steep for Priester's upside. I do think he'll pitch well. Worried if he'll get enough strikeouts to end up on the winner. I did list Priester in my article, but might be backing away from him a little bit. Payante, very hittable, walks guys, and you can steal bases against him. Sounds like a recipe for success for this Brewers squad, who always goes underowned. I think I need a Brewers hat, Steve. They've been good to me this season. They get active on the base paths, which they should be able to do that tonight. And yeah, I just think this team brings more upside than people realize on a night-to-night basis. Churio back in the lineup obviously helps. I like their chances against Payante tonight.
Yeah, same. And Piante's had plenty of blow-up games where, the BABIP goes against him, which is what can happen when you don't miss any bats. And like you said, this Brewers team is always under 10%. They have been really good, which is increase the price tags of the heart of the order, but I'm kind of fine with it. Like you said, they've got Churio back. He's been hot since coming back, hit a bomb again last night. Really like the heart of this order. And then you can pick off, a cheap bat or two in the back half if you need to. So I'm with you on the Brewers. They're one of the 5 mans that I'll have tonight. Priester, I really like him as a pitcher. We talked about him, I think last week, when people were scared that the duration upside wasn't there. He just goes and shoves over 7 innings, puts up 23 DK. We've been picking on the Cardinals for weeks. They did get both Contreras and Burleson back, and Donovan is back tonight as well. So not as good of a spot against the Cardinals that that we had for a couple weeks when their leadoff number 3 and number 4 hitters were all out at the same time. So not in love with Priester here. I think he's playable, but I think the best plays in the game are the Brewers bats here. We've got. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I think I'm crossing off Priester from the list now. I see that this Cardinals lineup. I'm going to go elsewhere. More Jonathan for me instead of.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, go for the upside.
Yeah, no question. We did miss Houston and Atlanta, so we're going to go back to that game. Thanks for pointing that out in the chat. Let's go back to the Atlanta Braves. Steve, I'm not sure you want to talk about the Braves. Sounds like you are over this team.
Who is it?
I'm not. I like the Braves a lot here, so I did have to go back to this game for sure. I wish they were facing Luis Garcia, but instead they'll get it's a bullpen game, right? So they're going with Jaden Murray, who I don't think he's really anything at all. And then something called AJ Bluebow is scheduled.
He's the guy who came in after Garcia and mowed the Blue Jays for 4 innings.
Yeah, I looked into Mr. Bluebow's splits especially, and he sucks against lefties. Isn't good overall. So it's
three and a third, 0 hits, 4 Ks against Toronto after.
I swear you see that all the time with scrub pitchers who replace an injured pitcher and they come in and pitch well. Yeah, Braves have now seen this guy. I'm not sure how much pregame preparation the Braves are doing at this point, but these lefties, Profar, Olsen, Baldwin, they look really good to me on paper. So I'm ready to be heard again here on Friday Night Fireworks, which is a Braves tradition. I'm going back to it. Hurston Waldrep going for the Braves. I do really like him as a pitcher. Have been very high on him on most of his starts. I don't think this is quite the spot for Waldrep against a low strikeout Astros team. So I'm off him today. I do expect him to pitch well. Just not going to, I don't think, do enough at 9K to contend for the winner. So just Braves bats is really what I'm looking at here, but I do like them quite a bit.
I'm with you on the pitching. I'm not on either guy here. Just a tough price for Waldrep in a low upside spot on a slate where we do have a bunch of upside pitching in kind of his range. So I'm with you there. I've got the Braves lineup pulled up. We do have that. They moved Acuna back to the 3-hole after he was hitting 6th and 7th for a while to kind of reset. Cheap bats in the second half. Our guy Ha-Sung Kim, Michael Harris, the big beater Ozuna hitting 8th. Man, what a tough season for the Braves. I get the spot. I'll probably end up playing more Braves than I would like on this slate, given who they're facing.
And yes, Steve, Blue Bow is going to give us blue balls on the Braves.
Yes. I'm usually on with stats on Fridays, and he's always banging the drum for Braves on Friday night. So glad to have you in here touting the Braves on a Friday night. I'm sure they won't disappoint us here.
Yeah. And by the way, imagine your snicker, right? You're clearly on your way out, and like one of your last things is, I'm going to move Acuna down to the 7-hole.
Acuna was not happy with it either. I'm not sure if you saw his quotes.
Yeah. Well, they've had some feuds in the past, Nick and Acuna. So.
Yeah. He also said that he wasn't sure if he was going to retire after the year. I'm like, I'm not sure that's going to be your call.
No. You. This is one of those. You got a choice. You retire or you're out of here. So
right.
We'll see which way he chooses to fall on the sword. Let's go to the West Coast. Colorado and San Diego. This one in Petco Park. Lefty JP Sears going for the Padres. Again, another cheap pitcher that I do think is playable here. It's pitching at home, big favorite. Only threw 58 pitches last time out, but it was really struggling to have the three previous starts. They did let him go 90-plus pitches. So, if they're teeing off as they should on Tanner Gordon and the Rockies and Sears is doing his thing, I bet they let him go here, save the bullpen a little bit. Obviously, the matchup's great against this Rockies team. I wish there were more lefties in the lineup is one thing for the Rockies or the projected lineup, but nevertheless, I do think Sears is a reasonable play at 6,500. I do like Alcantara better. I think he's the one with higher upside, but Sears I think is okay at 6,500. No interest at all in Tanner Gordon going for the Rockies. And I really don't play the Padres very often in Petco, but I will tonight. I think they're in a pretty good spot against Tanner Gordon and the Rockies. Your thoughts, Steve?
Yeah, with you on the Sears and Alcantara. I just think Alcantara's got the upside here. We do have a good projection on Sears. Sabres got him nearly 16 at 6,500. So I think he's a solid play. basically all you can say is league average arm at home as a basically 2-run favorite against the Rockies.
Yeah.
Is kind of all you really need to say there. Not really interested in the Colorado bats against him. Like if Sears struggles at all, they're just going to go to this bullpen, and I want nothing to do facing the Padres bullpen on a 12-game slate. So no Rockies for me here. We don't have the Padres lineup yet. We have the projected one here up on Sabre. They fully busted last night. Don't really expect that to happen 2 games in a row against the Rockies in this huge divisional race against the Dodgers. So don't love the park, but man, look at these ownerships against the Rockies. I feel like this is the lowest we've seen a team projected to be owned against the Rockies. At least, well, I've been on a show in quite some time. Everyone under 20%. I do get the park, but man, it can go south for the Rockies on the road in any park. So I think you got to like the Padres here, especially at these ownership percentages.
Yeah, in on the Padres, and yeah, thanks for asking, Lion Cubs. Shoulders, it's okay. Maybe you see me wincing a little bit as I grab my drinks over here, but I think I'm survived the worst of it. So hopefully all good on that. Let's move to the Reds and the A's. This one in Sutter Health Park, clearly the best hitters environment on the slate. We've got Brady Singer going for the Reds. He's another one. He's a lot like Bassett in his splits, where a lot of lefty power doing damage against Brady Singer. He's always been like that his whole career. And I like targeting lefties against those guys. Nick Kurtz, I think, is one of the very, very top plays on the entire slate. And I love when I get these guys who, listen, Langoliers and Rooker and Soderstrom, these are all, Butler is a good play, but I love the leadoff one-offs in particular, where you get a leadoff home run. No one else has to do anything. Kurtz is that type of player anyway. He's a priority for me to get in my lineups. I don't think I'll go to the full A stack. It's certainly in play against Brady Singer. And then JT, is it Ginn or Jin? Do you know?
I'm not sure. I think it's Ginn.
I think it's Ginn. He's been good for the A's. I know the overall numbers don't look great, but the big thing with him, and I know you looked at these numbers too, his splits are insane. I mean, he is mowing down right-handed batters to the tune of a 32% strikeout rate. I mean, that's up there with the very best arms. It's a big sample size at this point, and frankly, I believe it. He gets a matchup here with 5 righties, looks like, in the lineup for
we got it up here.
for the Reds, 5 righties. A lot of high strikeout rates from the lefties are Friedel, Lux, De La Cruz, and Will Benson, which not exactly, Friedel and Cruz are obviously decent bats, but even those guys, it's not the scariest of matchups for the most part, and decent strikeout rates on those guys too. So I like JT Ginn here. I think it's close between him and Alcantara. I lean Ginn slightly, but I think Alcantara is the one more likely to go deep into the game. So I do think it's close between those two guys, but I'm in on JT Ginn here for sure. Out on Singer, and then even though I do like again these lefties, the reverse is also true, right? Which I think is the side maybe you're looking at more closely. Lefties have absolutely murdered this guy. So clearly that mini stack, if you want, Friedel, Lux, Ellie at the top looks really good to me against JT Ginn as well. Over to you, Steve.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have the lefties in as one-offs and secondaries, and then I'll include the rest of the lineup in full stacks here. Again, his underlying stuff is good. He's been pretty unlucky. XFIP under 4. It's a good matchup. We're talking about the strikeout rates. I just pulled it up. 3rd highest strikeout rate in the split against righties over the last month for the Reds. You can kind of tell with how their lineup sets up there. My main concern with Ginn is just the park, right? Like it's the toughest spot to pitch on the slate. He started 7 games there this season, and he's given up 12 bombs in 39 innings. He's got a 6.64 ERA at home this year. So that's my main pause with him, but he is 5,700 in a high strikeout matchup. I'm going to leave him in the pool. I think he's a slightly worse play than Sandy, but I don't think it's there's that much of a difference. So I'll have both sides of it there. I'm not going to play any Singer. I'm with you on the lefties here. Kurtz, Soderstrom, Butler. Singer hasn't really given up any power this year. I'm not sure if that's something that he's changed or if he's just getting kind of lucky. Seems like a spot for him to have a poor outing, though, going in to Sacramento and probably do some home runs, some barrel regression. So I'm going to have both sides of this. The A's have been under-owned in their park pretty much all season. As the clear best run environment on the slate, we're getting very good ownership percentages on most of these guys here. So a little bit of gin and or gin, and then stacks on both sides here.
Yeah, Singer's batted ball profile against lefties, just a 34% ground ball rate, 40% hard hit rate, and tons of pulled fly balls as well. So,
Yep.
I'll stick with it or even double down on those A's lefties. I think they're really strong plays tonight. Let's get to Seattle for T-Mobile Park. We've got lefty Yusei Kikuchi going for the Angels. Seems like he's in play most slates just because he's super cheap usually, and strikeout upside is there, duration is there. He's really, really struggled recently, though. Didn't quite make my cut today. Again, we've talked about some of these other arms.
I think he's kind of out of gas here at the end of the year.
Yeah, it seems like it. So
he's thrown 165 innings already.
Yeah, and they're obviously going to ride him to the finish line here. Out on Kikuchi, but Luis Castillo, I think, honestly, rightfully, is going to be the chalk cheaper pitcher at 7,500. I think he's going to get some big ownership. It's really hard to, fight against that. Castillo's not the arm he once was, but he's still really good against right-handed bats, and he's still really good when he's at home. And he has both of those things going for him tonight against the Angels. Really right-handed heavy lineup, and really no lefty power to speak of, and just high strikeout rates up and down this lineup. So I feel like I got to be in at Castillo even at heavy ownership. And then maybe I wrote off the Mariners bats too easily against Kikuchi, given how bad he's been. All this right-handed power. Yeah, that could make some sense here. Might go to that some. So talk to us, Steve. Angels and Mariners.
Yeah, as the day's gone on, the Castillo projected ownership has crept up. We're up over 40% now, and mid-30s in the flagship here. Makes total sense. He's 7,500, projecting for almost 21 points. He's a tough fade in single entry. I think both of us cored Bryce Miller last night. He had a great outing against this same team here. We're just going to be streaming arms against the Angels until the Angels stop playing games this year. It seems like it's just a nut spot for Castillo. He's pitched well at home. He's not the pitcher that he once was, but this is too cheap a price for the matchup in this park. So definitely going to be heavy on Castillo. The question is, how heavy do you want to be on him? And then, I'm with you on the Seattle bats. I think the right-handed power makes a ton of sense. We do have their lineup. Randy's leaning off. Raleigh hitting second. Julio, Suarez, Mitch Garver's in there today. Has power against lefties. So I'll probably not full stack Seattle, but just kind of power hunt against Kikuchi here.
Yeah, briefly on Kikuchi, two of his worst three pitching plus starts of the year, which looks at the stuff, what you're bringing to the table, and then how you can command it, have been in his last three starts. So could very well be something to theory of him running out of gas. Obviously, the results have been poor as well, but good to see it backed up by the kind of independent pitching type numbers there. So, Seattle growing on me. You've seen it in the chat. Julio Rosarena has been on fire. We know what Raleigh can do. Suarez has 3 home runs and 14 career bats against Kikuchi. So we got our BVP reference for the day. So, that Mariners stack does look pretty good. Are they going to be low owned, Mariners? I assume so.
Yeah, we've got them up on the screen here. Everyone under 7%. I also think, we mention every now and then the night slate. I think Seattle as a pivot to the Sacramento game is really interesting on that night slate too.
Yeah, I love that call. Let's go to last game on the slate, Dodgers and Giants. Another fun series here. It'll be Justin Verlander going for Giants. 2 good starts in a row, 3 good starts in a row for Verlander. not someone I don't think you want to play tonight against the Dodgers at 6,600.
Nope.
Dodger bats, I think, are okay. There are better spots. Obviously, the sluggers, Ohtani and Freeman are good plays, but a tough park for sure for power. And then Yoshi Yamamoto going for the Dodgers. Man, they've had so many pitching injuries this season. The Dodgers, really, the staff's kind of been in turmoil, but Yamamoto keeps chugging along. He's been fantastic all year long. Coming off a 112 pitch outing where he's trying to get the complete game, didn't happen for him. I'm a little worried about the workload coming off that, but they kind of need him and they've trusted him all year. So probably gets close to his normal 100 pitches, I think is the most likely outcome. Gotta like Yamamoto, I think, here. 10K pitching in this park against a pretty weak Giants lineup. Your thoughts, Steve?
Yeah, I had the same, I don't think it's a lock that they're going to pull him back, but there's at least some concern. The last time he threw 110 pitches, he threw 88 the start after that. So, it's in the back of my mind at 10K, but do love this park. The Giants have been hitting lately, but a lot of it is, they had series in Coors and in Cincinnati, I believe. So you have to take those numbers with a grain of salt. Yamamoto has just been awesome all season. Definitely going to be over the field here. Sabres got him 7.5% projected. Definitely going to be over the field there on him. No interest in Verlander here. Don't have the Dodgers lineup yet. Dodgers were very good to me on Wednesday. Almost got me to the top with a late flurry of runs. We don't know if Will Smith is in the lineup. He's been kind of in and out. He got scratched yesterday. It was either yesterday or Wednesday after the game started. So keep an eye out for Will Smith if you're stacking Dodgers. They've been kind of screwing around with him in and out of the order. So I do like him here. Like we were talking about on Tuesday, Max Muncy is just like the engine to this lineup. When he's in there, I'm very much more likely to stack Dodgers. And he should be tonight.
Yeah, makes sense with the Dodgers. Could certainly see them doing some damage. That is all 12 games. Let's go back over our favorite pitching on the slate. It seems like we're on a lot of the same guys. Steve, who's your favorite pitching combination on DraftKings? Throw in a couple others that you're looking at as well.
Yeah, I've got a lot of pitching on this slate. I think I'm going to have 8 or 9 pitchers. I've got the current pool up right now. What I'm going to try to do is play Skubal and maybe Alcantara down at 6K, probably because I'm going to try to get to the Yankees bats on my main team. So I think I'll probably have to go down to an Alcantara, a Sears again at SB2. And then my favorite contrarian pitcher is Pablo Lopez today.
Love all that stuff. I'm in on Skubal too. We'll be at or over the field with him. I'll throw in Jonah Tong as I think a really good contrarian high upside play at 7,900 should get him, looks like sub 10% owned. And I do think it's viable to double punt at pitcher today.
Yeah.
Again, I same reason you're doing it, Steve, to get that top 5 Yankees into my lineup or 5 of the top 6. You could throw in a Nick Kurtz in there as well. And there are, some of the most expensive bats are in very, very good spots. So I do like the cheap pitching some, but obviously want to be at the field with Skubal as well. Let's go to stacks. What are you looking at for your top 3 stacks tonight, Steve?
I was just answering Darnell in the chat. The cash combo is going to be Skubal and Castillo.
Yep. Clearly, right? I mean, Yep.
Yeah. Anything different than that in tournaments will be a bit unique, but I would definitely play this too in cash. Stacks. We both really like the Yankees here. I think they're my number 1 stack on the slate. So I'll go Yankees. And Seattle's grown on me here against Kikuchi. We got favorable price tags. It's one of those teams. I know that you always mention this where it's clear the 5 that you want, right? It's the 1 through 5. Those are the power bats. You don't have to dick around with, the bottom of the order. And that's exactly what the Mariners give you in what is a huge game for the Mariners. Like they are I think they have the tiebreaker over Houston, so they are in first place as of right now.
Against a pitcher who's got blown up in two of his last three. I do like that Mariners call there on my short list as well. I'll throw in the Yankees. They are my favorite stack of the night overall. And then two more for me. The Brewers against Payante. I think they're going to be going on the base paths tonight. Seems like a merry-go-round type of game for them where there's guys all over the base paths. So I think they're a really fun 5-man stack. Can play almost anyone. Jake Bowers would be the guy with the pinch hit risk that I wouldn't play. And then the Padres against Tanner Gordon and the Rockies bullpen. I'll mention too, only one lefty in the pen for the Rockies. So guys like O'Hearn and Sheets, who've got big power, are a little bit safer than usual. Don't forget Jackson Merrill down there. He's been swinging a pretty good bat for the last 3 or 4 nights.
That's about time, man.
Yeah, but he certainly looked good. So this Padres team, they're another team that I could see just getting a ton of hits in this game and getting there as a full stack. Steve, we'll switch up the screen share here. We'll go to pick 6. I'm going to start this one as you think about your first pick. I'm going to Mr. Jonah Tong's props. Where are they? Let's search for Mr. Tong.
Over 4.5 Ks.
Oh, yeah. That's a lock. All right. We're 1 for 6. 5 more to go. Steve, where do you want to look next?
All right. So I was pulling up Luis Heel, hoping that there was an under outs. This one's only 0.5x, but over half a walk for Luis Heel. That could be the first batter of the game for him. He's got a 15% walk rate on the season. I mean, that's just
We're going 2 condoms here on pick 6. We got a 0.7x and a 0.5x.
We need like a home run prop. Where's
No. We got to get one. We got to get all 6 right. No, when you win it, no one's going to complain about the 0.5x. So just be happy to get.
There is a boost on the Kurtz home run, though, of course.
Well, that's going to be hard to pass up.
Yeah, 1.5x.
Yeah, I mean it's going to take one swing, so we'll get Kurtz in there at to go yard off Brady Singer.
What arms are we fading here? Let's pull up Bybee. See if we can go under on anything. I don't see any unders available for Bybee. That's unfortunate.
The earned runs allowed. 2 earned runs.
Oh yeah.
All right, Bybee in there over 1.5 earned runs. Any other bats that we both really like?
How about Payante over 1.5 earned runs?
Oh yeah, that is another one. Write it in stone, Steve. Payante.
We need one under. Under here. Who else are we fading?
Looking for a hitter?
It doesn't really matter. Let's go to.
What's Ginn's strikeout prop? No, not available.
I didn't see him on there. Let's do Cleveland. What about, let's see if, no. Or like a Yankees player for hits, runs, RBIs.
Yeah,
like that.
I like that. Someone right in the middle of that lineup. Ben Rice.
Ben Rice over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs.
Yeah, we'll get that in there. All right, that is 6 picks. Ben Rice over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. Bybee over 1.5 earned runs allowed. Kurtz to go yard. Luis Heel to walk at least one batter. And my man Jonah Tong to record 5+ strikeouts. All right, Steve, that'll do it for Friday Night Fireworks. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Hit the like button on your way out if you haven't yet done so. No baseball show on Saturdays, as always, and none on Sundays, of course, with NFL. But we'll be back on Monday, of course, bringing you – or no, Tuesday. We won't be back till me and you back on.
Me and you on Tuesday.
Yeah. So hope to go 8-0 in the 3-man streets. And with that, he's Steve Boyden. I'm DC. We're out of here.